Okay, so in the last couple of days, we got a little teaser announcement for the next season of The Dragon Prince, complete with a release date that's not a full year separated from the previous season. Seriously, series stalwarts can, I'm sure, remember the long COVID drought that left us without content for years. And then the tasty year-long gaps between some of the seasons of Mysteries of Erebos. And so, as a tasty Christmas treat, we're back. Back like the show released during its prime, with a fresh season coming on December 19th of this year. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And so, yeah, we can go through this little teaser, which is pretty much just a single scene, if that, and unleash some baseless speculation about that, and then also do the same for what else might happen in the season. Supposedly, this is the last season of Mysteries of Erebos, right? We'll see about that. And so let's begin. So our little clip begins at the Star Scraper that we got introduced to last season, the one with the blindfold cultist elves. What were they called again? The Celestial Elves, that was it. Anyway, it's our sibling duo of Astrid and Cosmo who meet Callum and Rayla in the most recent season. Cosmo had achieved enlightenment and used this to help figure out the best way to get Callum to heal the damage of dark magic on his soul or whatever that was. And this little segment shows Astrid at the top of the Star Scraper, opening up the roof to gaze at the sky. But it's not night, it's sunset, or sunrise. It's one of them. Anyway, she's looking in the direction of the sun, blindfolded of course, and then she greets Cosmo who'd come up to find her. And she kind of snarks at him, questioning him on, now he's enlightened, isn't he supposed to know everything and be able to see a person's past, present and future, so why is he asking her what she's doing? And so I think this little moment, I think it makes it rather clear that him being the first elf to achieve enlightenment after their people had been unable to see the stars for a very long time, so long that only that elder elf had ever taken off his blindfold before, and he was a kid. It was like 300 years when he was a little child. So it's been a long time between drinks for the Celestial Elves. Numerous generations have died off whilst the stars were clouded on the moonless nights. But yeah, I can see why she'd be even slightly salty about that. I'd probably be jealous too. And so she decides she's going to take off her blindfold too, during the day. But the only other time they've ever done this was at night. A moonless night. So it's not as bright. Honestly, you should probably start by taking it off at night. Just a normal moonlit night. Ease into it, so you don't damage your eyes. I don't know. Okay, just take it off and stare directly into the sun. Yeah, sure, cool, no hesitation or anything, she just stares it down. I mean, I guess if you'd never done it before, you'd actually not know that staring at the sun is not a thing you should have done, at least if you like having undamaged eyes. But she does what she does. She takes off the blindfold, and not only does she clearly suffer from staring directly at the sun, I mean, she is crying, and is this the face of somebody who's having a good time? But it also seems like she's awakening something. I mean, maybe this is all just for dramatic effect to show how it's burning her eyes, but I think she's getting some sort of knowledge or whatever. And why not? Because if you can get knowledge from staring at the stars, why not the sun, which is just a much closer star? So I suspect she's going to be going through something similar to her brother, and perhaps with some more adverse consequences. The season is titled Dark, so is this a name that could mean more than one thing? Maybe this experience is going to give her prophetic visions, but it'll also render her blind. That could be an interesting twist. I don't know, I'm just spitballing ideas really. I do think that with the effects though, she is seeing something. And it's probably plot relevant stuff too, because I doubt it would be a side story. That would be pretty lame at this stage, wouldn't it? I feel like we've arrived at the stage where you have to tie pretty much all the plot lines together if this is going to be the last season. But yeah, anyway, I guess time to just have some general baseless speculation to finish off the video because that clip was very short. And hell, let's spitball some ideas for the future, shall we? Okay, for starters, I gotta say, surely the show's not ending this season, right? Right? I mean, I realized that years ago they released that roadmap, which discussed how the Dragon Prince was going to be ending with the second saga, which is set to finish with season 7, but surely this can't be it. Maybe I'm huffing too much copium. But I just don't see how they could possibly finish up all the storylines in a way that would be satisfying in just 9 episodes. I mean, just think about how much there really is that needs to be sorted out and all the loose threads that are currently hanging throughout the story. And this probably isn't even all of it. There's so much that needs to be addressed. There's the fact that Catullus just got burnt to a crisp. There'll surely need to be time given for our leads, particularly Ezran, to come to terms with that development. We have this new story thread with the Celestial Elves and Astrid coming into some new powers potentially. At the very least, there's going to be drama, and it's going to need to be plot significant, otherwise, why show this? We need some true aftermath of the Sun Elves stuff. Pretty sure it was never confirmed as to whether Janai's brother even survived the battle, and they could probably take that either way, but they certainly need to address it. There's also the fact that Zubeia is likely going to need to make a return from her injury. We've also seen that Rayla got her adopted dad back from the coin, and surely there needs to be drama there. Don't forget, this dude killed Callum and Ezran's dad. I don't know, I feel like Callum was giving him some tremendous side-eye in their reunion. Maybe not, but I thought he was. And with Ezran just having lost his kingdom, Even Mr. Peace and pacifism himself may be pushed to the edge when confronted with his father's killer. And wouldn't that be a very interesting character beat? I mean, he is a child under tremendous pressure. If he doesn't snap at least once, I'd be shocked. On top of that, we need to have a reckoning for these dads of Rayla. One took her with him to murder a child, Ezran, and then attacked her and potentially would have killed her when she tried to show him a different way. Meanwhile, the other simply culturally shunned her alongside the rest of his people because he thought she'd abandoned her duty, which one, that is his daughter, and he didn't even wait to hear her out and see what she said. But also, I'm pretty sure the evidence they used to say that she abandoned her duty is the little flower thing, right? Hers didn't sink, so they all died, the other assassins, while she lived. And so, this makes me think, they expected her to die, to fail, so why send a child? And on top of that, what if she'd actually succeeded? And thus when she got back, she'd found she'd been shunned, and so on top of having the trauma of losing one of her dads, and all her allies, and having to kill a child, she is then culturally shunned by her people. This is how supervillains are made. Or what if her dad Runan had told her to run because they'd failed? He was her commander after all. What a clown Ithari is. Go to hell. I'm not convinced that they will have this moment of reckoning, but the show did kind of go out of its way to show the audience that her biological parents were not the best. They ditched her straight up. They were not truly her parents. And even when they see her again, I didn't feel like they were really concerned about her until they were reminded of their duty to the dragon egg, and then they started to panic. And I don't know, maybe it wasn't meant to feel that way, but I certainly didn't see any true deep connection there. They chose duty over parental love, and they seemingly have no regrets about that other than failing their duty. Meanwhile, look at Runan. He raised their kid, and now he's existing in a world of living nightmares due to his pain and guilt at having attacked Rayla to try to fulfill his duty. So clearly, they framed duty over love as the wrong choice. So I am hopeful we're going to get some tasty angst from this storyline, and it would need a lot of time to breathe. Rayla deserves some damn apologies here. Her whole village needs to cram their asses into a clown car, turn up, and beg on their knees. Bunch of fools. And that's just some of the stuff that needs to happen. What else needs to happen? I mean, there's that whole Claudia storyline that's still going on. She's sunk deep into the darkness, and while it looks like she had a good chance of being pulled back from the brink, now she has full-on thrown a lot in with Erebos. And fair enough. But I still think there's more to her story than villainy. And it would be a shame not to have her and Soren have some sort of follow-up to their broken family dynamic. We've seen hints of their mum, and Viren explained it in his backstory confession, but are we going to see more of that? Was that just going to be an open end forever? And then on top of that, there's the big dog itself. We have Erebos and his grand scheme. In order to secure his release from prison, he tells Claudia about his past, about how his daughter had seen that humans were struggling and suffering, so decided to give them magic to help him out. And this in turn drew the attention of notable piece of shit Sol Regum, who went and snitched to the other Star Elves. I tell you what, I just hate this guy, by the way. He got what he deserved being blinded for years, he got what he deserved accidentally killing his wife, and then I love that Erebos clowned on him at the end of it all, and he died knowing what a fool he was. Well-deserved ending. Burn in hell, son. But yeah, I feel like the whole going against the other Star Elves is yet another storyline that needs a hell of a lot of time to breathe. Surely he actually gets his revenge. I went on the wiki in search of names. Apparently the main douchebag is called the Stern One, and I need to see this dude suffer the consequences of his actions. Kill this fool, make him beg and cry, then toss him, kill him, Erebos. Do it. I actually need to see that, but can we really accomplish all of that in the course of 9 episodes that usually go for 20 to 30 minutes apiece? I mean, I guess you could just make all the episodes longer, but I don't know. I guess it is possible, and it could be done, but would it be good? Or would it feel like it's been rushed and thus not living up to its full potential? I suspect we'd all feel cheated if it ends so soon. Hell, he only just got out of prison. This arc was named for him. He's only just escaped. We had Viren linger as an active villain for ages, but Erebos is so much more compelling than him now that we know his motivations. I need to see more. And I swear I heard talk of maybe another saga, and I really think that would be for the best. A third major arc, now he's out, where we can keep delving deep into all of this and follow his path to revenge, whilst the others try to stop him as he clearly doesn't give a shit about collateral damage. So yeah, man, this video got away from me a little bit. I just wanted to talk about my hype at the announcement of the release date, then it's pivoted into this little clip we had, my thoughts on it, and then it just spiraled out of control. Talking about how there's so much the next season needs to contain if it is the last season, and thus, the show must go on. I'm certainly not tired of content. How about you? Especially since the show seems to be heating up like it was in those early seasons. This season was so compelling. I rarely think that milking a franchise is for the best, but here, it seems to be the natural conclusion. The show could use that couple extra seasons to finish off with perfection. And so, yeah, not really much else to say beyond that, and so I'll just remind you, these have all been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What do you think of the release date? You hyped for it? And the next season? Maybe not. What about the clip? What do you reckon's happening with Astrid here? Do you think they're going to keep the seasons coming? Should it end with Mysteries of Erebos? Or should they milk it so his revenge is a saga in and of itself? Or maybe you disagree, and you think they're primed to go out with a bang and finish off the show and series on a high note. That they'll be able to fit all this content into the final season, and there isn't much left to do. I'm honestly curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.